So your battery went dead. Then later on, your alternator went dead. And you're going, what's going on? Well, it's this auxiliary battery in these Jeeps. And they will pull down your main battery when they go bad. But as time progresses, they'll also pull down your alternator and cause it to stop working. If you're watching the voltage inside your Jeep, the voltage meter, as you're going down the road, you'll see it kicking off. And then it'll kick back on and kick back off. Well, that's a sign that this auxiliary battery, if you haven't replaced it, needs to be replaced. So remove your big battery here, battery cover, move the battery, get it out of the way. You still got voltage coming through here from the auxiliary battery, so be careful. Number these things, these little leads here. These are right here, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's nothing on 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now I put little numbers on there. That's number 2, that's number 3, etc. Pull them off, set them aside. There's number 7. All right, the next thing you're gonna do is back these off some. You don't go all the way. These 4 connectors underneath here are being held on by these screws. So loosen these up. And then we're gonna lift this up. You gotta use a screwdriver and gently lift it up and get these tabs off. And you gotta do it all the way on all 4 sides here and bring it straight up. And let me pause so I can use 2 hands. So I've popped these little tabs. This is now loose. Okay, you do this gently, don't break nothing. And anyway, just take those 4 tabs, a little screwdriver, and turn them sideways and lift gently on all 4, and it starts coming up. Now you're gonna have to finish. You got the space down there. You can finish loosening these up and start to disconnect each connector. Here I've lifted it up a little bit further. You see each one of these are connectors, and you can lift this up and continue to remove these. You got to make sure these are backed all the way off because they're holding that connector in. Once they're backed all the way off, you can, and it's fun, but pull these connectors off. All right, here's the first one come off. You got to give it a little gentle squeeze right here, and then right here. You know, both sides, like you kind of grip it and squeeze it, and it releases the little plastic just a little bit more, and then it comes right out. So do that for the other 3. Make sure these are loose all the way, and then remove your tabs one by one. And don't worry about them hanging around because they only go back in one way, the way the harness is designed. So they're going to go back in their little seats when you go to put this back together, so you can move them, get them out of the way and everything. All right, I just did this one, made sure this was backed all the way off, and then gripped it down there and got the second one off, that one right there. And I'm going to go for the other 2. And once you have this up and you got that space underneath, don't worry about you're not going to overback these things. So like I've turned them and they're completely back. So don't worry about that. As long as this is up out of the holder, these have room to come out. All right, the last 2 were simple, easy. They came right out. Now you don't want anything happening to this. You don't want to accidentally mess any of these things up. So be mindful when you do this not to bust one of these or anything. Keep your hands out there and just gently set it somewhere. You can check out your pins underneath, make sure they're fine, but as long as you didn't do anything crazy taking it out, they should be fine. All right, we've gotten past the worst of it. Next few steps is just move these things out of the way. Just stick them wherever you can get them out of the way, because you got 3. Let's get this one out of the way here. All right, down here you got those 3 screws. You got 2 of the same. This is going to take a socket, and then that was going to take a smaller one. And looks like a dead cricket or something there. Mr. Grasshopper. Where's he at here? See Mr. Grasshopper there? He had a bad day. All right. We're just going to take those off. And then next will be this cover down here that's underneath here. And as you take it out in stages, you got the just make sure you don't lose nothing. Take it out, put it back. We'll get to the battery in just a second. All right, I removed That one was a screw and these two are nuts. And then you just pick this tray up and set it aside somewhere. All right. Oh, what's with all the dead bugs in here? Another dead bug. Got a big old beetle over here. You had a bad day too. All right. You got this screw right here, that screw right there, and that one dirty, nasty one there. And I would have suggested you put stuff in this tray as you work, but this one has holes in it, so I don't trust little holes. The stuff falls, screws fall in them, you never find them. All right, these little tabs here need to be popped up. Well, a little tougher than me. Let's try the screwdriver. Pop these little tabs up. I have to get a smaller screwdriver to do this. Well, all right. I'm not trying to watch what I'm doing in film. That don't make no sense to me. All right. It's just a little plastic tab. There's one. And get it right underneath there. There's two. You can kind of move that. You have to pop those tabs because this harness. And make sure you put them back. First one I did, I forgot to put them back, but I was able to slide them under there and then pop them in. After I'd had everything in, I had to take the battery back out. Well, I couldn't get the battery back in because this harness was sticking out too far. All right, I'm going to remove those 4 bolts. Be right back. Alrighty, so I removed those 4 bolts, and this tray will pick up. It's a little aggravating with this harness, but it picks right up and should come out. I may have to put this down and do 2 hands because I got to hold these back at the same time. It slides out this way, real easy if you have 2 hands. You got that harness down in there too. You just gotta come out of that and then come up like this. Oh, okay, we don't need 2 hands. That's dirty. So get all that dirt out of there. All right, throw it somewhere. I'm gonna take a voltage reading on this battery. This is the little auxiliary battery. Looks like someone put black tape on there. Someone been in here before? Or was that from the factory? All right, got our cheap little Harbor Freight voltmeter. Any voltmeter will do. And all right, sorry about the video. I'm trying to get this on there and that on there to see. All right, that's not bad at all. It's like 12.49, but that's not bad at all. Huh. Well, we'll go ahead and replace it. But this Jeep is newer than the other ones. But it did have a dead battery. On the other Jeep, the battery is at 6 volts. And the small battery. And what it does is you can't tell how much voltage is on that small battery. And it'll pull down the big battery until it goes dead. And then you replace the big battery, and next thing you know, your battery's, gone dead again a little bit later on, and you're like, what's going on? But before it does that, your alternator is trying to compensate and pump, get this thing back up to 12 volts. It's constantly going, and it overloads and trips out. So if your alternator, your battery's been dead, you replaced it, and your alternator's gone dead, it might not be completely dead. You might want to take this battery out. You can probably take the battery completely out. I'd suggest replace it, but take it completely out and then check see if your alternator kicks back on. So, but it just becomes too much of a drain on the alternator. The alternator shuts off. You think, oh, I got a bad alternator. Well, the first Jeep, that's what I did. Put a new alternator in along with a new battery. And then it still didn't work. It kept going dead. The voltmeter kept tripping out and shutting off, and you'd run off the battery trying to get home. And in a nutshell, it turned out to be this. This was only 6 volt, but this has 12.48. So, but this lady wants to go ahead and replace it before anything happens. This Jeep is not that old, but the last one was a 2018. I think this is a 2020 or 2021. So, but we'll go ahead and replace it. And yeah, no one wants to be stranded on the side of the road. Some people take these things out and leave them out, but then I don't know about that, because I'm not sure what circuitry this thing's running, so I don't know if that would work on these newer ones. Some of the old ones, they did it too. They take it out and they tape up the leads. But oh well, we're gonna replace it because we got a new battery right over there. All right, so we removed the little two connectors here, and we're about to put this newer battery back in. And you want to break these off. You can actually take all that off, I guess. That's actually a good little safety thing right there, because you really don't need them. And let's put this back on, because I left them on the other battery. It keeps anything from getting on it to short it out. Break that off. All right, now you got to get these posts off, and for that you need to go somewhere like I did, like O'Reilly's, and grab your little star bit. And I think it's a quarter. Yep, it's a 1/4 inch star bit. All right, see the little ratchet. And we're gonna take these off. I'll be right back. All right, we took them off of here, put them on here. Needed 2 hands there. Hold the battery, keep it from spinning. Right, this one's sticking up higher than that one. There it goes. All right. Never over tighten these things. You're dealing with the lead. Lead is a very soft metal. All you want is that post to be in there. Once you put the nut on there, it'll put enough back pressure and everything to hold that on. So just a teeny snug. If you go anything other than a tiny snug, you're gonna strip that thing right out. All right. Oh, we need the case. Get this battery out of the case. Put this battery in the case. Ready to go. Put this battery back in, and I'm gonna need 2 hands to move all these harnesses. All right, put your leads back on. See it down there. Put the lead back on. Square it up. Put it on there nice and neat. Get your little nut. This little finger tight. Get your other lead. Now let's go and tighten this one down first. Lift the ratchet. Anyway, we'll put that back together. Let's see my extensions. This is my extensions. Now I had a nice long extension for this, for the small one. I had brand new I'd bought, never used. And when I went to get it, guess what? Not in my toolbox, along with my other super long 2-foot long extension that I had bought for 3/8. Now, I'm like the community tool owner that never gets his tools back, or I find them out on the road where they fell off someone's truck. Yeah. Yep. But hey, there's good parts and bad parts to that. Good part is they use them. Bad part is they lose them. They don't put them back. And it gets really aggravating sometimes. Okay, I'm gonna need 2 hands to put this nut on because this rubber thing's in the way. All right, for some reason the little plastic doohickey thing was just making it hard, so I just took it off. Probably should just take them off. And let's see who the dogs are trying to kill over here. Neighbor's dogs. Okay. All right, we gotta get this little plastic piece where the battery's in. It's tight. Leads are tight. Great. Let's double check on that ground there. Make sure I didn't loosen it. Okay. And clean these covers up. All right, now I got to finagle this in. It's got to go underneath and get into place, so I'm gonna need 2 hands again, so hold on. All right, got it back in there. Put the screws in. Now it just wasn't quite getting in there seated correctly, and it was this wire right here. You just got to move it and pull it out. Mine was bound up in there. I pulled it out, and anyway, put these four bolts back in. The sun's really giving us a hard time. Right here, that one there, and then them 2 that came out, and just tighten them all back down. Yep, tighten them the right way, not backwards. Can y'all even see that? The sun is just out of glare going on. You're probably like, this guy's video is horrible. This whole job is simple. It's just you got to be careful with that fuse box. Do not damage that fuse box or these connectors or the pins in them, or you're gonna have all kinds of problems. You just be gentle with it. All right, let's put these tabs back in while we're thinking about it. These 2 little tabs here on here. Just push them back. The little plastic things. Pop them back in. Here. That's out of done. I'm gonna finish tightening these and come right back. All right, those are back in. Now again, everything in here is plastic and real cheap, breakable. So don't over tighten anything. All right, again, I'm gonna need 2 hands. Shouldn't be too bad. Just put these things in here. Put the tray there. Put the fluid in first. Drop it in the tray. Tray in position. This one's gonna go. Yeah, I should have put this on a stand or something. Huh? We're gonna go there. Just kind of get you in position. And again, gonna need 2 hands to get this in place. All right, and then make sure you put all screws in. You got the 2 bolts and the 1 screw down here. Jeez, the sunlight, it's like messing with this. But you get that bolt there, the nut gonna go there, the nut gonna go there, and the bolt down that hole there. Put the little bolt in first. Hand tighten everything first. Put everything on the finger tight. You won't see me out here in the sunshine during the summertime doing this. I'll be under the shade somewhere. All right, let me tighten these down. All right, here comes the fun part. Now, if you put this tray in correctly and it's nice and where it's supposed to be, all these will go right in and snap in. You hear that little click? So I put in position and gently snaps in. This one, does that one belong there? Yeah. Like I said, they really can't mess this up because it's got the only place for the wiring harness. They come right in the way the wiring harness is designed, unless you got some crazy, freaky, half destroyed. I was like looking for this thing. I was like, where's it at? It's right in front of me. All right, it goes inside. The wiring harness goes inside the tray and then snap. Make sure these are kind of out of the way. And the fun part. Like I said, don't break nothing on here. This one's not as complex as the older model. And this thing was loaded with fuses and everything. All right, this is the simplest part, or it could be the hardest part. We're gonna line this up. I'm gonna use 2 hands, but you just line it up. Make sure these leads are out of the way. And check all your little pins. They all look good. It all came out good. Nothing's bent. And they all look pretty straight. And we'll use 2 hands because we're going to put this straight down on top of here gently. And if anything stops us, we're going to stop and pull it back up and see what's going on. But Everything should go straight down and connect in on these connectors. And if you don't do this part right, you have all kinds of problems. You'll be bending pins or something. Again, make sure these things will mess you up if they're not out of the way. But I just gently, and it fell right in a place, fell down. All I gotta do is push it down now. And it snaps right in. Boom, boom. All four corners snapped in. All right, make sure you didn't loosen or twist or bend or anything up here. And the next step will be tightening these down, which we can do right now. And then putting those goofy things on last. All right, let me... Start it by hand, make sure you don't feel any hard resistance or nothing. It should go right in the threads of the connectors. As long as no one else has been in here monkeying around, tearing the stuff up, it'll be all right. And is that the right one? Now you're gonna hear a click. I heard one. There. Again, see if you can hear the click. Hear that? It's seated. And now we just finished tightening it up. That click, that's the plastic clicking in. So it's seated good. If you come across any kind of weird resistance or something, without hearing that click, you need to back up and redo everything. See what's going on. I have a bent prong or something. Or you get a ratchet like mine that's just starting to just destroy itself and about fall apart. There with the click, click, there it goes. Comes in. And just snug, don't over tighten. Just watch that little cheesy thing. Watch that number 30 right there. Click, there it went. Screws up. I doubt it's gonna hit that. Boom. People, we are close to being done here. Now, I found all your little leads. Make sure you numbered them. Number 1, that goes here. Now, these get a little funny when you put them in. You got to make sure there's a groove back there. Yeah, you can really see that. There's a groove back there. See these little grooves for each one? That's where the wiring harness goes. And then you kind of got to get it on there. Hand tighten these things, because if you mess this part up, you're going to be in trouble, because these little nuts stay on top of these things. Don't try to take them off. And if they break off, then I don't know what's going on. So anyway, I'm going to reverse my steps. I'm going to go with number 7 if I can find it. That's number 6. Where's 7 at? Are you 7? Yeah, and these things are hot too from that other battery. You seen that spark? Yeah. Zip, 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 zip. It's powering something. Yeah. Zip, 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 zip. Just don't be standing in water or grounding yourself to the vehicle when you do this. Nice little sparks everywhere. All right, let's get our proper little doodad on here. Number 10. And now, I'm going to use 2 hands with this, because you need to keep this straight, okay, and that thing down in the wiring harness, and this should go down really easy. If it gets in a bind, don't keep going down, you'll cross the thread. So I'm going to use 2 hands, and I'm going to guide it with 1 hand and make sure it's going down easy, tightening while I do this. All right, 1 down. 5 more to go. That's number 7. Where's number 6? There's 6. And make sure you tuck all that back in there. And we're ready for the sparks again. like I said, get it in that groove. So it's 2 hands. So, well, a little blurry video. 2 hands. I got to get it all on here. All right. All right. Most of these should have went on finger tight. I just had a problem with the first one and the second one here, number 2 and number 7. But anyway, remember, don't put nothing on the number 4. There wasn't nothing there. All right, fuse box looks good. I'm gonna go and pop the cover of that back on. Yeah, it just kind of goes on there. And then we're gonna clean out our battery box of all our garbage, tools, and such, and get the battery back in here. And don't forget to tighten your battery back down. Right there. You know, lock that battery down. Alright. And your battery cover. Once you put the battery in, put that on next and then tighten it down. Alrighty. Probably the end of this video, but we'll see if it cranks. Alright, put the battery back in. We push the battery that way to get it up under the lip to hold it down on this side. And then you got to put this piece wherever it went. The bird's laughing at me. And as you can see, it has nice little grooves right there. See the grooves? Right here where my thumb is and on the other side, and they got to go in those grooves down there. And once you do that, the bolts should just fall right in. And my hand's in the way. But anyway, make sure that it's in the grooves and then tighten it down. Alright, all tightened down. Now you just put your leads back on. Alright. And then I got to hold that down. I want to hold it flush while I tighten that down, so it's going to take 2 hands. Remember, these to take on and off, it's just these little nut here and the little nut right there on the ground. It's the only thing you need to take off. Don't take all this mess off. You don't have to. All right, well, that's about everything. Let's which key was it? This one. Let's see if this thing cranks. Yeah, I'm gonna junk off the hood. All right, that's everything. Crank up and everything should work. Couple of clicks there. I don't know what that was about. AC's running. What that was? Music. That's it. Just remember, auxiliary battery causes a lot of problems. So make sure you fix it, replace it. I don't know how old this one was. On the 2018, we just replaced it. So 18, 19, 20. I'd say after 5 years, if you're starting to have battery problems or alternator problems, 5 to 6 years, check that auxiliary battery. That's probably what the problem is. Have a great day. Hope you enjoyed the video. You don't have to like it. I don't care.